your website is kind of blowing up here. And what's really impressive to me is you're a recent college graduate. You are new to the career field, yet this is really taken off. I think you've picked a great topic here to build a website around as well. So give me a little background on you and where you went to school and your interests and where you're headed.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So I am a UNC Asheville alum, just graduated with a degree in atmospheric science in this spring of 2023. So like you said, I am very new to the professional world. It's kind of a fledgling professional. But I have launched this new platform called Explore Fall. That is my labor of love, I guess you could say. So I worked on this project all throughout my senior year of undergrad, and I've got a passion for fall foliage. So I decided to create a fall foliage map using my meteorology skills that I acquired in undergrad to help more people across the country find beautiful fall foliage.
All right, Evan, I got the same degree from the same place, but I think things must have changed in the past few decades because I did not get this level of modeling education while I was there. So what got you interested in fall foliage? Because of all the things you can model when it comes to weather, this is pretty specific. Do you love fall colors? Like, where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Asheville. So I went to school just down the road from home. But I really got into fall foliage in fall of 2020. I decided to take a gap year between one college and the next. So I did transfer into UNC Asheville halfway through. And in that gap year, I realized, hey, I have a bunch of different interests. I love being outside and exploring the fall color, but I also kind of think I might like the GIS kind of data analytics side of meteorology. So going through and processing all of those different emotions, I realized, wow, there's kind of a neat little project that could be done here where I could improve fall foliage data visualizations for folks to help them find fall color. So it's been a journey. That's 2020. It's now 2023. And over the past three to four falls, I've been getting better and better each fall, I like to think, at creating more useful data visualizations. And now that it's Explore Fall is finally public, I think this is my the ultimate goal. This is really where I've been heading for the past 3 years, and I hope that I've arrived. Not that there isn't a lot of work ahead of me, but this truly is my future.
Yeah, I can imagine it's got to be hard to gather data on fall foliage though, because it's not like a weather station where you're just getting a, past peak reading that you can input. So where does your data come from?
Yeah, so I actually use RTMA, kind of high resolution meteorological data. So this is 2.5 kilometer resolution across the United States that analyzes variables such as temperature and precipitation. Now I go each day, fetch the latest data, and then use some statistical methods to make a best guess at what fall color progression is across the United States. Now, it is still a best guess. My map is far from perfect. And this is just the first year that it's really been out and open to the public. So I look forward to making it better in future years, but bringing in all of those different data sources, not just the weather stuff, but also there's variables, like how long a day is. Daylight hours really plays into fall foliage color and timing. So all of those variables are considered in this statistical model that I run.
Interesting. So are you getting verification at all? Are people sending you pictures or telling you this is right or this is not right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the best kind of verification that we can really work with. Our data set is rather unique. I don't know of anyone else who's done this or at the very least done this and made it public. So I'm doing my best to find quantitative verification out there. Photos are great, but it's a bit qualitative. That being said, we do get lots of reports each day of people all across the country sharing their pictures. Different fall colors mean different things to different people, meaning some people might think that peak occurred on one day, while someone else might think that peak occurred a week later. So it's very subjective science, which makes it difficult to model as well. But
Yeah,
getting
for
those
sure.
reports is just a wonderful thing. It helps.
Oh, okay. So you said us and we. Are you working with anyone else or are you doing this by yourself?
Yeah, so the model development was on my own, but going into the season, I brought in a good friend of mine, Peter Forrester. He's a GIS professional who graduated from Virginia Tech a number of years ago, and we're good buddies, and we've really had a lot of fun working on this project. He does a lot of the social media work, kind of manages that, as well as gives me pointers on where I can improve, because I just started a GIS master's program, but I have no formal GIS training in years past. Everything has been self-taught. So he's really made sure that I'm on the right path, making useful data viz and giving recommendations where he sees fit.
Tell me about the website, because there's more than just the fall foliage forecast on there, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So it's not just the fall foliage forecast. We do try to help people through our blog and also through a fall foliage archive. These are just different kind of inputs that people can use to analyze, where do I need to be planning my fall trip, and when do I need to be going. We try to highlight places that are nearing peak color as they're about a week out. We give people a heads up before that color arrives. And the archive is, some people find it useful, some people don't. I personally love it because it gives you a window into what fall foliage was like in years gone past. But it does also kind of give you a reference for, okay, I want to visit this place in New England. Let's see how the color progressed there in years past, so I can plan ahead for this year.
You've been doing this for a few years, comparing years past to this year, are you noticing anything different this year? I know it's early in the season, but have you noticed any differences?
Yeah, so some drought impacts have been rather challenging. I was hoping and praying for very little drought going into the season because that would make for an easier fall foliage year to model. Fortunately, I haven't been given that, and the model has struggled in a couple of spots as really dry soil moisture conditions have stressed out fall foliage. So I would say this year has been kind of categorized, especially in the Midwest, by that drought conditions. We've seen really early color in the Midwest, and now we're seeing some delayed color in the Midwest as we get asynchronous peaks in fall foliage amongst different types of trees. And then the Northeast is actually performing better than expected. It was a bit of a surprise going into October. We expected it to be delayed because of how wet this summer was. But it's actually quite beautiful right now, and we're seeing the first peaks showing up.
I know New England is kind of the go-to spot when everybody thinks about fall foliage. I'm already seeing the videos coming out of Vermont. But are there any spots across the country that are kind of hidden gems in your eyes that people don't typically travel to, but they're missing out?
That's a fantastic question. Yeah, this year is a wonderful example of the hidden gems. So Utah is really standing out this year. Their fall foliage is incredible. The maples, it's called the big tooth maples, they started peaking in early to mid-September. And now that peak is starting to ebb a little bit, the aspen are taking over. And it's just gorgeous in the mountains outside of Salt Lake City. That's, in my personal opinion, that show is rivaling what the Northeast and New England will have this year.
Yeah, I've definitely seen those videos out of Utah too, and they're very cool. All right, any tips for people who are going to go do some sightseeing? Any professional tips that you can give people as they're hitting the road?
Sure. So my tips are, beware maps that were made a month plus ago. I should say forecasts that were made more than a month ago. Just like we can't forecast the weather more than 10 days in advance, we also can't forecast fall foliage with any high degree of accuracy 10 days, more than 10 days in advance. So look for those short-term forecasts. I think Explore Fall is a great resource for that, but you also can't go wrong with local boots on the ground resources wherever you're planning on going. I also love to tell people, go early in the morning if you're going somewhere that is tourist heavy. Oftentimes people don't show up until 10 o'clock in the morning, and you can get in there right around sunrise and just see some beautiful fall colors with less people.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. While you're here, check out some other videos you just may like.